What's up, guys? Tugi here, back again after the marathon that was the last episode where we went through the draft. In this episode, we will go through the rest of the off-season. Let's do this. We have a lot of players to sign, a lot of frickin' moves to make is what I'm trying to say. English, man. It's my first language, but sometimes you wouldn't know it. Well, let's take a look here. Zane McIntyre needs a new contract, and we will give it to him. Honestly, I will give him a 3-year deal. He could be the main man down in Providence for years to come. Malcolm Subban needs a new contract, and honestly, we're going to try to sign him for as cheap as possible because he is more than likely out the door, and we want, hopefully, with a cheaper contract, his value will, Jesus, go up. My God, what is happening to me? Linus Arneson needs a new deal as well, and we can only get you for 2 years on a 2-way contract, but that is okay. Let me sort this by overall. That is better. Joe Morrow needs a new deal. He played fairly well towards the end of last year. He's looking for a decent chunk of change, though. We'll see if we can get him 2 years at $2.2 million. Nate Prosser, God damn it, he was great for us. He really was. So we are going to look to hold on to him. And you know what? We are even going to reward him with some security because he's willing to sign a 2-way deal. So we're going to do it, man. He was good for us, a hell of a waiver pickup. He was a Stanley Cup champion for us. Obviously, he gets a contract. Matt Bartkowski doesn't, though. You can get the fuck out. Tommy Cross. I'm keeping him just because I'm a fan of his, and I wish he could make the Bruins in real life, although it's not looking like it's going to happen. But he's the captain, and it will stay that way. Alex Grant can be gone from our team. Christopher Breen can be released as well. Of course, we're going to have a lot of players to let go of because we pretty much signed everybody from Providence just so that we could cut them and get our players in there. Chris Casto, I am sorry, you are out the door, and that is good enough for now. We'll probably look at signing Weinhold in the further on in the offseason, probably during the preseason. David Pastrnak needs a new deal, and the longer we can lock him up for, the better. Now, I'm thinking, Jesus, how much money do we want to throw his way is the question. We'll go back to him. Austin Czarnik would take a 2-way deal, but you know what? He deserves better. We'll give him a 2-way or, Jesus, a 2-year deal. My God, can you tell it's late when I'm recording this? 1.6 mil. Actually, we'll go up to 1.65 for 2 years. We'll see if he takes that. Schwartz can be cut. Simpson can be cut. We will go back to Pastrnak. Ryan Spooner also needs a deal. I'm a bit hesitant to give him more money, but $3 million seems fair. 3.5 for 3 years. We'll go to try and get Ryan Spooner that. Tim Schaller wasn't too terrible for us. Question is, how long do we want to sign him for? How long do we want to sign Tim Schaller for? We'll go 1 year. We'll go 1 year for Tim Schaller, just because I'm not sure of his future. Brian Ferlin speaking, he doesn't want a 2-way deal. So you are only getting a 1-year offer, and we'll see how much progress he makes. Paul Bissonnette is out the door. Colton Hargrove, I am sorry, you are out the door as well. And Jesse Gabrielle needs to be signed to his entry-level deal. So left wings are taken care of. Centers, Noel Achari needs a contract. We will go 2 years, hopefully at 1.85 for him. Peter Mueller is gone, and Brock Higgs is gone. So cap space-wise, we should be fine. I'm going to sim a day, though. I want to get all these other guys signed, see how much we have left with Pastrnak, because we do have to factor in that if we go out and get a defenseman, which is the plan, to replace Zdeno Chara, we're going to need the cap space for him. So I want to play it safe. Ryan Spooner is back. Schaller. Is anybody going to decline? It's not looking like it because we know how to hand out friendly contracts. So I believe, $8 million left. Ugh, $8 million left. It's actually not that great. It's actually not that great. Although, granted, the roster can be a little bit fucked up because it might show people on the main roster that should not be there. Pasternak. What do we want? 6 years at 5.6 would be solid. So let's try that. He's 21. He'll be 27 when the deal is up. And that leaves us a little bit of wiggle room here. I mean, I don't even know who's going to be available in free agency. That's the thing. Pasternak is back, so let's sim forward to free agency. And that's something I didn't even really think about, is we still have free agency, and there can still be some big names that show up here, although more than likely trading will be the way we get anybody that we need to. But let's take a look at the free agent list. Tyler Johnson. Carl Alsner is the best defenseman. Tyler Johnson doesn't fit into the team. Okay, well, overall, it's probably a good thing I didn't bet on free agency. I mean, there are some decent names out there, and there might be some decent potential guys. But overall, I am definitely happy that we didn't hedge our bets. Ben Bishop is a free agent. If Montreal signs him again and then fucking has him back up Carey Price, this game is broken. Now, before we get into potentially signing some players, although they will most likely be prospects and AHL filler, we need to address the Malcolm Subban situation, and it is a situation. Whether it's because of the way these rosters have been changed or not, we have highly overvalued Malcolm Subban, and we are not going to be able to get that elite defenseman, which means Torrey Krug is going to have to be on our first pairing, probably with Carlo or Trouba. Now, I should say, too, about Skinner and goalies that were drafted in the last episode. I was right. For example, DiPietro has pretty damn good value, even though he's at fringe starter. It's actually better than Skinner's, and there's a couple other examples. But we need to figure out a place for Malcolm Subban. And there are 3 players who I feel like would be good, because we need to find someone, basically a second pairing defenseman, to go between Krug and Morrow on the third pairing. Mueller of the San Jose Sharks, Alec Martinez of the LA Kings, or this man that I feel like would be the better shout than Martinez because he's 25 and he still has the potential to get better, although you never know. Cam Fowler is who we are going to look to pick up. He has 1 year left on his deal. We are going to have to give up somebody. It's probably going to be, if I had to guess, who's at the bottom? Probably Tommy Cross, maybe Brian Ferland. Hey, Brian Ferland. Perfect. We'll tack on Brian Ferland. I'd rather keep Tommy Cross. That looks like it might go through now, but can we tack on a third? I don't think that would go through. No, it would not, and we actually offered it before. As you can tell, I've tried to work out the kinks of these trades. Would the 4th rounder go through? Nope, we tried that as well. Can you tell I've been trying to make a trade go through for quite a long time? Will the 5th go through? No, and we hadn't offered that before. How about the 6th and the 7th round pick in the upcoming draft? Will that go through? It will not. How about just the 6th? It will not, and apparently I also tried that, but I didn't try the 5th. Will the 7th round pick go through? Please, EA, spare me. It won't. Subban and Ferland straight up for Fowler. It won't, and I already tried it. Fuck's sake. Oh my god. All right, well, 2018, we already have quite a few picks, so we'll start tacking on those lower picks. 7th rounder. Won't go through. We'll tack on the 2 6th round picks. Fuck it. Will that go through for Cam Fowler? I just want to get rid of Malcolm Subban. Oh my god, this is much more difficult than I ever would have guessed. Our 5th round pick, Ferland and Subban for Cam Fowler. All right. 4th rounder, Carolinas. Please. Okay. No. We'll make this work. We'll give up Buffalo's as well. Please. God damn it. Okay. Right. Chicago's. Thank Christ. You know what? Did we give up too much? Probably. But Subban, Ferland, and 3 fourth-round picks are off to Anaheim for Cam Fowler. I'll take it. We have a quick trade here, guys. It's Tommy Cross and Emil Johansson, who just have to be forced out based on who we already have on the team. They are off to New Jersey for a handful of picks. This will allow Zaboral and Lozon to get into the lineup in Providence. Now, guys, I'm going to give you fair warning here because this is going to be a landmark moment in this series that determines whether or not some people simply find it entertaining or not. And it's a risky thing to do. Now, in the past, I've had series where I've obviously put some pretty big handcuffs on in terms of what we can do in terms of free agent signings. Other series I've just been like, fuck it, we're doing whatever. And that's kind of what I'm doing, like a mix kind of that. As you can see, contracts, 37 of 50. So we have some space to make some moves and sign some prospects. And that is exactly what we're going to do here. And we're going to go after some pretty damn big prospects, some of whom didn't sign with their NHL team. And that's where the controversy might come in. Starting off with goaltending. Now, of course, we have Rask and Khudobin in the NHL. Right now, all we have is McIntyre because we can't sign Skinner. So we have gone after 2 goaltenders. This man has been a thorn in our side for many series. Vienni Vehviläinen. And we are finally going to attempt to be the ones to get him. As well as Daniel Marmeland, who was undrafted. We're going to look to pick him up too. And that's the thing. A lot of people are going after him. I think Toronto and Montreal have offers in for him as well. So we're going to go after those 2 goalies. Defensively, there are 3 players. We need depth players, and those will be in the form of Alex Carrier for the left-hand side. And for the right side, Vieti Vainio, somebody who we had on the Columbus series and traded away pretty damn quickly. As well as Nicholas Meloche, or Meloche? I've always been confused on the pronunciation of that. Meloche? I'm not sure. Someone will let me know. Colorado didn't sign him. He's getting offers. So fuck it. Why can't one of the offers be from us? He will serve as a depth player in Providence. Now we get to one of the big ones here, if not the biggest one. Brock Boeser has hit the free agent market unsigned by the Vancouver Canucks. We have sent him an offer. Consider him our Jimmy Vesey. If he doesn't go to us, he's going to someone else aside from Vancouver where he should be. Jim Benning didn't get it done, and we're going to try to bring him to Boston to really make Providence a stacked team. We're not done. Left wings, we have this player, Rudolfs Balcers, who is not too bad, unsigned by the San Jose Sharks. And then centers, we have a trio, and it's a pretty fucking good trio. And again, this could cause some people to be like, oh, now it's going to be too easy. Roop Hintz, unsigned by the Dallas Stars. Colin White, unsigned by the Ottawa Senators. And Michael Spacek, unsigned by the Winnipeg Jets. Again, this is, I can't lie about what I'm doing here. Look at the potentials of some of these players. They are insane. But it's also insane that EA doesn't have their parent team sign them. There is no reason for Boeser to not be on Vancouver, for Colin White to not be on Ottawa. But it is what it is. The decision's been made. I'm certainly not going to go back to the start of free agency to change my mind. It's been made. If it changes your opinion on what you thought this series might be and you think it might be a bit too easy for me now at this point, I get it. But in a way, they would just go to teams that they shouldn't be on to begin with. I blame EA. Now getting into this, Alex Carrier has signed. Nicholas Malosh has signed. Spacek is here. Marmolind is here. Vainio Balcers has signed, so that is about half of who we sent offers to. Colin White, Brock Boeser actually declines and goes to Toronto. Case in point, we actually offered him a max contract, which is crazy that he's saying, oh, the dollars aren't right. We gave him the max rookie deal. He declined. Rupe Hintz and Vefalainen are here, but Brock Boeser, kind of like Jimmy Vesey, spurns the Bruins and he signs in Toronto, which is shocking. It makes me feel a little bit better that we didn't get Brock Boeser. We still have some decent players, and there is somebody who I had as a backup. That is going to be Glenn Gaudin, who we also have, I think, in the fantasy series. He's just not on the Blues. We will sign him as a backup, but Brock Boeser, you son of a bitch, signs with Toronto instead. I imagine we'll get Gaudin, no problem, and indeed we do. But there you have it. I don't know what people will think of the moves I just made, but they are what they are. They've been made. Let's move forward to the preseason. All right, guys, to wrap up this episode, the teams are set. Let's take a look. Now, the Bruins, 91, 91, and 95. The wannabes at a 79, 78, and a 79. Now, you are going to notice quite a bit of progression from certain players. We start off with the top line. It is Marchand at an 89, Bergeron at a 91. David Pastrnak is a 90, is a legit first-line forward, and we have him locked up for 6 years. Holy shit. Now, the thing, too, about Bergeron is it kind of sucks. He's obviously a legit first-line forward. He's labeled as a second line just because he's a two-way, just because he's good at defense. It's the same thing we saw with Isaac Lutzer. It's ridiculous. Second line, Ryan Spooner up to an 85, not too bad. We will start him with David Krejci, who's at an 89, and David Backes, who's at an 87. So not too bad there. We'll see what Spooner can do and see if he can keep up the success that he had in the postseason. Petrano's up to an 84. He's with Nola Chari, who's up to an 85. Unbelievable progression from him. And Austin Czarnik as well is an 85. That top 9 is looking sick at this point. The bottom line, the fourth line, Matt Bolesky. Maybe we trade him? Not the best contract. I mean, the fourth line is where you would want him. But, yeah, maybe with that contract. I think we'd have to at least trade him by the draft next year. So the question is whether or not we keep him. I'm all for keeping him, I think, at this point. Danton Heinen up to an 83 is here. He is on the team, as is Tim Schaller. And actually, we'll put Bolesky over on the left side. So overall, very happy with the forward core. Defensively, Krug's up to an 87, which is nice. He will play with Brandon Carlo, who's up to an 84. Cam Fowler, an 84, plays with Trouba, an 85. Joe Morrow, I am so sorry to have doubted you. He made it to an 84 and kind of made the Cam Fowler trade a little bit obsolete. I mean, Morrow still is listed as a top 6 defenseman, but if Fowler struggles and Morrow gets his game going, we have an option, and you will see that option down in the AHL in 1 minute. Colin Miller, you need to have a big season, or you are out of here. Of course, the goaltending, it's Tuukka Rask. He's up to a 93, because of course he is. The AHL, though, is where this gets interesting. Now, obviously, you could tell the doubt in my, the doubt in my voice with the players we signed. There's something I did a few series ago, which was make the teams that gave up these players pay the stupid tax. And that's what we're going to do again. But we have to wait until, I'd say, roughly about the All-Star break, so that we're not punished for trading players that we just signed. But for now, Jake DeBrusk is a 78 at 20 years old, which is phenomenal. Rupe Hintz is an 80. We will send him back to the Dallas Stars for draft picks. But yeah, 4 draft picks. They are losing draft picks because they were stupid enough to let him go. Riley Nash, we have the choice. We could get rid of him as well. Or we could get rid of Matt Bolesky and have Riley Nash on the top pairing, because that way at least we'd have a righty on the right-hand side. Peter Cehlarek's up to a 74, which is pretty nice in real life in the AHL. He's doing phenomenal right now. Colin White we will send back to the Sens. Anton Bleeds at a 79, a strong chance that he could make the NHL here very soon. Balcers, we'll send him back to San Jose when the time comes. Sean Corrali, kind of glad we held on to him. And Senyshyn is here at a 73. Gabriel, a 68. Colby Cave, a 75. And Carlson, a 74. We did sign Dufek, and he is currently scratched. And then, of course, you have Michael Spacek, who we will send back to Winnipeg, and Glenn Gaudin, who will get sent back to St. Louis. Once we trade all these people away, we will just sign free agents, some decent free agents, to boost up the team a little bit. Defensively, here's the option. If we were to get rid of Cam Fowler, it is Matt Grzelcyk, who is, look at the puck skills, look at the shooting, look at the skating. He's an NHL player. He really is, aside from the physical category. So maybe, let me know, because that's really the big question. What do we do with Cam Fowler? What do we do with Bolesky and Nash? And I think I have my mind. I know some people say, oh, don't worry about the prospects you signed. I don't want this series to go like that. So Rube Heinz, Colin White, will trade them to where they should be. But defensively, we do have Prosser. Linus Arneson is with Jeremy Lozon, who is now in the AHL, as is Jakob Zaboral. Not too bad. And Martin Weinhold, who we signed and who will get some playing time because Viniel will go back to Columbus, Carrier will be going to Nashville, and Milosh to Colorado. If you guys know for sure how long I have to wait to avoid being like, oh, nope, you traded people too early, you can't sign free agents anymore, let me know. Let me know, because I do want to make those moves. The good news is, goaltending-wise, Vehvilainen and Marmelind are just flat-out ours. They are on this team. They are not going anywhere, and we can use them to our advantage in the future. As we wrap up this episode, again, as always, I want to say thank you guys for watching. As always, as always, let me say that a few more times. The liking of the videos, the subscribing, you'll do it if you want to. I did want to take a look, though, at the trade values. Bergeron's is through the roof. Colin White will get a decent bit of picks back, high-value picks for him. Trent Frederick still has decent value. He'll be down in the AHL next season. Gaudin, Heinz, we won't get too much back for them. Riley Nash, if we were to trade him, we couldn't get too much for him. But I'm liking where this team is at. I will like them even when we trade away certain players. I think we are in a pretty good spot. Now, will we be cup contenders moving forward? Maybe not. But when some of these players reach their full potential, we are going to be a very difficult team to deal with. And as it is, Marmelind and Vehvilainen don't have the greatest of values, so it doesn't feel that cheap. I don't care about it being cheap. I'm just saying in general. That is it for this one, guys. As always, support the video in any way you deem necessary, and I will see you guys in the next episode where we begin the Season 2 sim.